Good day to all the panels. I'm Daniel from 3SKTG. The topic for my final year project 1 is the effect of biofuel and natural gas blends on the engine performance and exhaust emission for diesel dual fuel engine. Biodiesel can be used instead of diesel. The use of biodiesel reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. The blending of natural gas (CNG) to biodiesel can create an ideal fuel for the future as the addition of natural gas reduces the carbon emission. The objective of this project is to evaluate the effect of biodiesel and natural gas blends on engine performance and exhaust emission. The scope of this project is to measure the performance of the engine based on its torque and horsepower. In the meantime, the exhaust emission is measured based on its emission of nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, and carbon dioxide. The biofuel blend grades used are B5, B10, B15, and B20. This project has a few constraints, mainly regarding the engine use. In this project, a diesel dual fuel engine (DDF) will be used. DDF engine does not run on pure biodiesel due to its high viscosity. Thus, to overcome this problem, diesel is added to biodiesel. Because compressed natural gas will be added to diesel as a fuel, few minor modifications are required to make it work. DDF engine is known for having poor natural gas combustion efficiency at low loads, as well as worsening thermal efficiency and total hydrocarbon emission. High thermal efficiency and low total hydrocarbon emission can be achieved by introducing a multi-stage diesel injection system. Low NOx emission and stable combustion can be achieved by adjusting injection timing and injection pressure. Biodiesel, as mentioned earlier, is produced from renewable resources and are usually made from vegetable oils or animal fat. Biodiesel is almost identical to diesel fuel, enabling it to be used in most diesel engines with a slight modification. There are several ways to produce bio-based diesel fuels. The most frequent method used is transesterification. Transesterification is the reaction of triglyceride with an alcohol in the presence of a catalyst producing free glycerol and fatty acid ester. This process decreases the viscosity of the vegetable oil without reducing their eating value. The figure above shows the transesterification reaction of triglyceride and methanol, which results in the production of fatty acid ester and glycerol. Natural gas has a good impact on vehicle development and is an excellent alternative to gasoline as CNG burns cleaner in engine compared to gasoline. Because CNG burns at a lower temperature than most liquid hydrocarbons, the amount of NOx released by natural gas engine is smaller. Engines that use CNG also produces less sound. Natural gas is at disadvantage as the fuel may stem from its lower energy content when compared to other fuels of comparable volume, and the engine performance may suffer as a result of this. One of the benefits of dual fuel engine is that they may be built to run on natural gas with a diesel pilot or on 100% diesel fuel. Another benefit of dual fuel engine that it produces a low exhaust emission. DEF engine on the other hand has a clear drawback such as poor low load characteristics and reduced brake thermal efficiency. These are the summary of some of the previous latest studies. Firstly, Amolite and others studied the effect of biodiesel where rapeseed oil is used on engine performance and on exhaust emission. The performance of the engine is as no significant changes, but the emission of the CO and AC increases. Secondly, Mustafi and Rayner studied the effect of biogas on the engine performance and exhaust emission. The study proved that biodiesel can be used in DDF engine without modification. In the meantime, NOx and PM emission is also lowered. Moreover, Shen and others studied the effect of diesel and CNG blend on engine performance and its emission. The study determined that CNG ratio, pilot injection time, intake temperature plays an important role in influencing the engine performance as well as the emission. Lastly, Muller and others studied the effect of biodiesel on the exhaust emission. The study able to prove that the cylinder temperature and radioactive heat loss influences the NOx emission. On to the research methodology. The equipment used are INO HO7C diesel engine, a dynamometer and an emission analyzer. The source of the biofuel used is waste cooking oil. Waste cooking oil can be found in abundance as it is used in most households as well as in restaurants. To reduce the wastage of used cooking oil, it can be used as a biodiesel. The fuel blend used are pure diesel, biodiesel mix of B5, B10, B15 and B20 as well as biodiesel CNG blend of B5, B10, B15 and B20. The procedure of assignment is shown as in the figure above. The biodiesel blend were initially created using the International Identification Marking of B5, B10, B15 and B20. The physical and chemical properties of biodiesel blend were investigated. This testing is done with the engine with a sweep test. The engine is run under roads, but it is permitted to sweep under RPM in a continuous manner from a lower starting RPM to a higher end RPM. The DDF engine was then started up. At fixed 100% engine loading, the engine performance and emission were tested at 1000 RPM, 1500 RPM, 2000 RPM, and 2500 RPM. The unexpected result and discussion. Firstly, on nitrogen oxide. The amount of nitrogen oxide NOx produced by all fuel mixture was lowered compared to pure diesel. As a result, reduced nitrogen NOx in biodiesel containing fuel blends indicated a lower combustion temperature due to the low calorific value of biodiesel and a longer ignition delay. The graph also shows that with the presence of compressed natural gas CNG, the amount of NOx in the fuel increases. Moving on to carbon monoxide. The graph shows that the emission of carbon monoxide in biofuel DDF fuels decreases as the biofuel blend in the biofuel DDF fuel increases. It was discovered that increasing the biofuel proportion will reduce the CO emission. The result revealed that when compressed natural gas was present in the fuel, the CO released by the engine increases. Next is carbon dioxide. As the quantity of carbon dioxide emitted increases, the closer it is to achieving the complete fuel combustion. And lastly, unburned hydrocarbon. We can deduce that the amount of unburned hydrocarbon UHC reduced as the amount of biodiesel combustion in the biodiesel blend increases. As the engine speed increases, the amount of UHC emitted also increases. As there was no presence of compressed natural gas in the fuel, the amount of UHC emitted by pure diesel and V2 was very low. On the other hand, engine power and engine torque were measured to determine the engine performance. The HP value was proportional to engine speed. It is confirmed that using CNG as a primary fuel increases the engine horsepower dramatically. Lastly, the torque was lowered for each type of biodiesel. Because less effort is required to push the engine piston at high speed, the value of torque decreases as the engine speed increases. It can be seen that using natural gas results in a larger output torque. In conclusion, based on the study, clean combustion in the engine helps to minimize the pollution emission like carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide. Moving on to the engine power, it was discovered that blending of biodiesel and CNG improves the reading as the engine speed process. Biodiesel and DDF generated the most engine power when compared to the other fuels owing to the presence of CNG and its combustion was close to completion. Lastly, the engine torque measured in the study revealed that all types of fuel has a similar outcome and the torque drops as the engine power increases. This is a Gantt chart I have planned for my final year project 2. I plan to begin my work on literature review on the second week of October and complete it by the week 4th of October. On the week 4th of October, I plan to start my experiment and complete it by the week 4th of November. On the week 4th of November, I plan to begin my work on the characterization of biodiesel and compressed natural gas blend and complete it by the week 2 of November. And lastly, I like to begin my work on discussion and conclusion on the week 2 of December and complete it by the end of December. And that's all for me. Thank you.